Hello, my monstrosities. Hello once again. Today I bring to you a video into which I might get two birds with one stone. I've been waiting, like I think a lot of us have been, to see who or what will break Librarius Conclave. And I think that I have an idea at what it could be. And also, from what I can see, there's only been one other person to try this idea, stats wise, that is, and we'll get to that in a minute. But for now, what is Librarius Conclave? That is the Space Marines Grotmis detachment that says, hey, we're going to buff Psyker units. At the start of the battle round, select one of the following Psychic Disciplines. Until the end of the battle round, that Psychic Discipline is active and its effects apply to all Adeptus Astartes Psyker units from your army. So, uh, we have some sneaky things about this, and this is pretty interesting because, man, Space Marines keep winning, I guess. So, Biomancy Discipline gives you +2 to move for Psyker units. Divination Discipline gives you reroll hit rolls and wound rolls of 1. Always good. Pyromancy gives you an additional AP if you are shooting a target within 12 inches. Telekinesis Discipline. Subtract 1 from strength characteristics of attacks for ranged attacks that are going into your unit. And telepathy, excuse me. Each time a model in this unit makes an attack, you can ignore mods. Right. So, all good stuff. All things you can choose. Perfect. Enhancements, take them or leave them. I think the one that I am most interested in for today's idea is the fact that you have Fusillade, into which ranged weapons equipped by models in the bearer's unit have anti-monster 5 up and anti-vehicle 5 up. Also, you get sustained hits 1 if pyromancy is active, which is increased AP, or +6 to the range if telekinesis is active, which is -1 strength for incoming ranged attacks. So, this can be pretty nasty. And from there, I think the one after that might be Celerity for 30 points, into which the bear's unit can charge after advance, and if Biomancy Discipline, +2 to move, is active, you can also fall back and charge. Cool, but 30 points is a little steep, but we'll see. Now, going on from there, we have stratagems, such as Sentry Assault. Select one enemy unit that is within 18 inches of and visible to one Psyker model in your unit. Ba-ba. Until the start of your next turn, they're pinned. Subtract 2 from move and subtract 2 from charge rolls. In addition, if telepathy is active, have to take a battle shock test, subtracting 1 from the result. Telepathy is ignore mods. Cool. Iron Arm, we have possibly +2 strength in the fight phase for an infantry unit that is within 18 inches of one or more Psyker models from your army. If Biomancy is up, Biomancy is once again the move. Armor of Contempt is Armor of Contempt. Assail, we probably don't really need to worry about this one for today, but you can do some mortal wounds. It's a grenade, essentially. Um, Fiery Shield, we have so that one Adeptus Astartes infantry or mounted, so if you want to put that in here, that is within 18 inches of one or more friendly Psyker models and was selected as a target during the fight phase. Until the end of the phase, each time an attack targets your unit, -1 to hit, and if Pyromancy is active, they have Hazardous. Pyromancy, once more, is the AP within 12. And finally, Prescient Precision, Psyker unit that has not been selected to shoot this phase. You get lethal hits and ignores cover if Divination is active, and that is rerolls. So, all good things. And let's just see what type of Psykers we can bring. Okay? Alright, for this idea, let's start off with the Librarian and Phobos armor, excuse me, which will give your unit 4 up, feel no pain versus psychic attacks, stealth, and can't be shot outside of a foot. And we are putting this on the Spectra skill team. Yeah, so this is where we get into two birds, one stone territory, into which how come nobody's talking about Deathwatch? I don't like when this happens because I've talked about how this always happens, or at least for this entire edition it's been happening. Into which they go, oh, but my Death Watch. And then people stop playing Death Watch. And then every time somebody does put Death Watch on the table, we find out that shit hurts. And I think that shit hurts. You might be wondering why not play it in Black Spear Task Force. Well, remember when I threw that little shade at the fact that, once per game situations? That's what happens in Black Spear. So, actually, let's pull that up so everybody can see. You have bum, ba, 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 Black Spear. You have mission tactics, which are nice. Um, but then you have to choose if you want to, once per battle, do sustained, lethal, or precision. Now, there is the difference of stratagems you can argue, but I think if everything can find a home in Librarius, there's a conversation to be had. So, we've already talked about the Librarian and Phobos armor. What can a Spectre's kill team do? Well, at the end of your opponent's turn, if this unit is more than 6 inches away from all enemy units, you can remove this unit from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserves. So, if your opponent doesn't kill them, maybe because they couldn't shoot them, uh, you just get to uppy downy, right? Now, also, should be noted, they have infiltrators. Uh, the Librarian also has infiltrators, and Phobos Armor also has infiltrators, which isn't something that quite a bit of the units that it can lead can do, so match made in heaven right here. Also, you have models in the Bears unit have a 6-up Feel No Pain. This is nice that compared to you go, oh, a 6-up Feel No Pain doesn't really do much. That's true, but it's nice to have, and then gets even better if they are a psychic attack. So that's another way to look at it, not to say that it's amazing that everything will have psychic attacks or that 6-up Feel No Pain is the bee's knees, but it's better than nothing. So, also, there's Instigator Bolt Carbine. In your shooting phase, after the Bears unit has shot, the Bears unit can make a normal move. If it does, until the end of the turn, the Bears unit is not eligible to declare charge, i.e., you shoot, you scoot, and can probably get picked up and be safe. Right? Right. Now, that's not where the argument stops. We continue on to the Librarian and Terminator armor, which Librarians, we should know, or I'll say we'll know from now on, because I'm not going to keep repeating Psychic Hood. Uh, but they give their unit a 4-up Feel No Pain versus Psychic attacks. Cool, cool. With the Veil of Time, while this model is leading a unit, weapons equipped by models in that unit have sustained hits 1. Perfect, and they can attach to Deathwatch Terminator squads that can re-roll charge rolls made for the unit. Each time this unit ends a charge move, each enemy unit within engagement range of that unit must take a battle shock test. If that enemy unit does not have Imperium or Chaos keywords, subtract 1 from that test. So, what how would that go together? What does that do? Right. Um by taking a Librarian and Phobos and Terminator arm, excuse me, and attaching them, this now becomes a Psyker unit into which uh, you already have your 1 battle shot coming out of the Death Watch Terminator squad, but also with Sensory Assault in your command phase, you can make it so that one enemy unit that is within 18 inches of invisible to one Psyker model in your unit until the start of the next turn, that enemy unit is pinned. We already ran through that. So that's just to say you could be battle shocking, deep striking, because this is a Terminator squad, so you have Teleport Homer, and getting into funky little angles to make sure that, yeah, your opponent has things turned off. That's pretty interesting on its own. So, I think that's not necessarily the smoking gun, but it's definitely nice to have. Moving on from the Deathwatch Terminator squad, we have the basic Librarian, Psychic Hood, give you the models that this unit is leading, 4-up invulnerable save. And this can attach to both Deathwatch veterans and the Fortis kill team. Deathwatch veterans get reroll hit rolls of 1, and if they don't have Imperium or Chaos keywords, you can reroll the entire hit roll instead. Now, going to that, this is where we get even more fun with the stratagems. Back to Prescient Precision, we can give our unit lethal hits. So, reroll ones or reroll the entire into lethal hits is pretty nice, and we don't have to worry about being in divination. But if it is, we get the bonus ignores cover. Now, I also would like to add that that's just if you go for the Deathwatch veterans. Going over to the Fortis Kill team, you can have each time a model in this unit makes an attack that targets a unit that is below its starting strength, +1 to hit, and if they're below half strength, +1 to hit and +1 to wound. So you could have those pluses, lethal hits, and rerolls, and ignores cover, because you have attached a Fortis Kill team to a Librarian. Yeah, that's actually pretty nice, right? Deathwatch veterans also rerolling hits of 1 outside of divination or needing prescient. You have the option of Iron Arm, into which you are gaining bonus strength, possibly +2. And going from there, it gets again even better. We have Talon Strikes, and we have the fact that they can attach to Inquisitor Draxus, who is a Psyker, which makes this an Adeptus Astartes Psyker unit. The Talon Strike kill team, each time this unit is set up on the battlefield until the end of the turn, improve the AP characteristic of weapons by, AP characteristic of weapons equipped by models in this unit by 1, and or I guess melee weapons equipped by models in this unit have the lance ability. Because you are a psyker, you are gaining all of the benefits of here. Alright? All of the benefits of here, and again can get the benefits of whatever else you want here. That's the flowchart of how that can go, right? But I also do want to point out, if you want to bring another Talon Strike kill team without Draxus, Iron Arm and Fiery Shield just need to be within range of a Psyker, so they don't necessarily need to be the Psyker units themselves. So you can still benefit from -1 to hit in the fight phase and giving your opponent hazardous weapons, or +2 to the strength on top of that. So, just want to say that that's there. And Inquisitor Draxus also can attach to another interesting unit, the Indomitor Kill Team. Each time a model in this unit makes a ranged attack that targets the closest eligible target or makes a melee attack in a turn in which it made a charge move, improve the strength characteristic of that attack by 2. So, 270 points, attaching Draxus, or an Inquisitor with Psychic Gifts would also make this an Adeptus Astartes Psyker unit. And on the charge, you increase that strength by 2. Of course, we want to talk about the Twin Power Fist because this is going to be interesting. You take that strength up to 10, and you can, with Iron Arm, take that up to 12. So now your Indomitor Kill team with Twin Power Fist can have a few Twin Power Fists, right? With Strength 12, Twin Linked. That's just the thing that you can do there, because we have kind of cheated the system, because it's not necessarily an Adeptus Astartes Psyker. That's not one keyword. It is Adeptus Astartes and Psyker. So as long as Psyker comes from somewhere and Adeptus Astartes comes from somewhere, it's a match made in heaven. I think I've said that twice in this video. Don't know what's going on with that, but hey, I guess that's on the brain. Go ahead, we'll do that twice. But yeah, just a funky interaction that, looking at it, I was like, wait a minute, you're telling me if I can just make them Psyker units from outside forces. Oh, by the way, we should also talk about that Draxus is a good unit who also follows through with the whole, Xenos Hunter. That's why she can attach to Deathwatch. While this model is leading the unit, each time a model in that unit makes an attack that targets an enemy unit that does not have the Imperium or Chaos keywords, +1 to hit. And Psychic Veil. In your command phase, this Psyker can use this ability. If it does, roll 1d6 on a 1, take d3 mortal wounds on a 2 up. Until the start of your next command phase, this Psyker's unit can only be selected as the target of a ranged attack if the attacking model is within 18 inches. So between Draxus and Librarian and Phobos armor, your units can't be targeted from distances that you don't want them to be targeted from. And now the Inquisitor base doesn't do much. You have Power of the Rosette, into which, when you use your stratagem on the unit, if you roll a d6, and on the 3 up you gain 1 CP. They can also get a 6 up invulnerable save, which is kind of cool, but then you would be sacrificing psychic gifts. So we want to make them psychers, so don't really worry about blessed wardings, right? Also, you don't really need it too much. They have a 3 up save for the units that they can attach to, so unless there's AP3 ignores cover and they're doing that just for your kill teams, I don't think you need to go through that worry. So just go for the psychic keyword and possibly get some CP back every time you blow a stratagem. So that's nice. And going to the fact that apparently one other person has tried this, from what I can see. Going over to Stat Check once again. Check out Stat Check. They have a YouTube channel. They're all nice about this stuff. This is reloading because I went away from the page for too long. But going over to Death Watch, right? Just out of curiosity, it has 2 wins, right? But apparently there's one person that has played Librarius Conclave and played 4 games, and they won half of them. So they won 2 games. Uh, who knows what happened to possibly the 5th? But for what it's worth, one person actually saw the stars align and said, "Hey, I can do this and be probably okay." So now that it's funny how that happens, right? Now that Death Watch is once again considered Space Marines, they can take the Space Marine detachments, i.e., Librarius Conclave, into which all of their units can become Psychers and get any of these disciplines whenever they want. Ignore mods on, well, kill teams. Yeah. -1 to the strength coming in from ranged attacks. Yeah. Improving the AP for their already bullshit damage. Yeah. Well, for ranged attacks, I should say. Um, reroll hits and wounds of 1 is always good. And +2 to move, also good. And you don't have to worry about only being active for 3 out of 5 turns, and one of those being sustained, 1 lethal, and then precision. You're just sitting there with your um, YouTube safe word out, right? So, yeah, I think uh, I think this is possibly the next iteration of what the fuck is Deathwatch doing, and the beginning of holy crap, Librarius Conclave can do more than possibly expected. Now, this does go to also say, hey, I could put Deathwatch in Gladius or any other one that's good for the flavor of the month. But for what it's looking like right now, this might be the way to go about it. So, yeah. If you like the video, like it, got a comment for me, comment, and until next time, peace out, my monstrosities.